Yay Media Group.
Hey guys, it's Stephanie.
I'm Trey.
This is your weekly dose of BS.
Let's talk about Spencer Pratt.
Okay.
So, did you see, this is a few weeks ago, the TMZ article talking about how they were trying to expose him for living at the, Bel Air Hotel, but in his ads, he's saying that he's living in this camper on his property, and TMZ kind of grilled him on it.
Oh yeah, I did see that. And I also saw the TMZ thing where they kind of backtracked, saying that I guess he said that he had all these smart people he was working with, and I guess they contacted them and they're like, he's telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that he kind of claps back at people.
He does, but here's my thing, because I watched the Spencer Pratt documentary on Hulu that came out about a year ago, and Spencer Pratt's always been in on the joke. Spencer Pratt's always made $1 off of every article that's ever been printed about him. So they had him on TMZ Live, and Harvey had texted him that morning and was like, hey, are you living at the Bel Air Hotel? And he was like, I'm staying at the Bel Air Hotel, but my home is no longer there. That's where I live. But when you stay at a hotel, you don't live at the hotel. You're staying at the hotel. So yeah, I'm staying at this hotel.
Yeah.
And TMZ has posted this article now 10 times. I think Spencer fully put that plan into motion because he is that smart of a guy.
I think
TMZ owes him a couple favors.
He's done a complete 180 or a complete turnaround in my life, because whenever he was on the Hills, I did not like that guy at all. Him and Heidi were not my favorite couple. I felt like he was just too much and and now I think he's a great husband. I never thought I would think that about Spencer Pratt, on the Hills. I thought he was very selfish, self-absorbed. Now I think he seems to be. Now, obviously this is just an outsider looking in, but one thing I've noticed, just seeing the little bit of him on social media, he seems to be obsessed with his wife, a very, very, very good husband and father. And then I do think that he is very passionate about running for mayor. And I can't vote. I don't live there, but I don't love politicians. And and
neither does he.
Yeah. And I don't, so I am you know what, if you can do a good job, then yeah, why not? I think he's very, very smart. People that never talked about him, truly, people who never talk about him are now talking about him in his ads.
But that's the thing.
He's a marketing genius.
Yes, he's very good he knows how to keep himself relevant. After their house burned down, he solely put Heidi's songs at number one on the charts by making 50 TikToks a day. Mm-hmm. He wore her shirt consistently for 4 months.
Yeah.
He went on that show House of Villains. The only thing he wore was a Heidi Montag shirt. He knows what he's doing, and he will ride hard for his wife, which is very just admirable. But he feels wronged, and he feels like he can do this better than the people that have done it before, which he's making a pretty good case. Yeah. I think he's going to win.
If I had to put money, I think he will too. A lot of people do not. I really think he will, because and maybe I think more people like him than people. I don't know. I think he will. And I never in my wildest dreams thought that this would be I never thought I'd be wow, he is a but you know what?
But he's media trained.
The jokes are on us, because he's probably always been a marketing genius.
He has. But that's the thing. The joke has always been on us.
Yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, the grown-up Stephanie really likes and respects Spencer Pratt. The Hills were going on Stephanie. He was my least favorite person. I was this guy sucks, But I think he's grown up a lot. I really do. I don't know. Like I said, it's not anything that we can vote on. So, but I think he's going to win. And I think hopefully if he does, he takes it seriously, because from what he's saying, there's a lot of things that need to happen, and a lot of, But
Bethany Frankel posted a video about how she had him on her talk show back in the day when she had this talk show, and then she ran into him. Bethany's dad lived in the Palisades, and so she was visiting him and saw Spencer at an ice cream shop, and she said that man really loves his town.
Yeah.
She said, I knew that when I ran into him. for those few moments at that ice cream shop years ago, that man really loves his town and really feels like he was wronged.
Yeah. Well, and passion is contagious. And I think that that's what he has that probably nobody else running has in the same level as him is he is so passionate, and passion is so contagious that even people who don't even live there is like, wow, this man like is very passionate, wants change, loves his town. I don't know. I think he's going to, I could be wrong, but I think he's going to win. I really, really, really do.
And you know what he is? He is 50 Cent level petty.
Yes, he really is. Yes.
And that is enjoyable.
As long as he uses it for good. I think you can be 50 Cent level petty, and it can be good if you use it for good, right? If you use it to like kind of do good with it, that's fine. But hopefully he, if he does become mayor, hopefully he will use his powers for good, get the right people under him, and really go in and, make changes that really help everybody.
Needs a massive power washing.
LA is such a cool, California is beautiful. It's so beautiful. I've not been there for a while.
I hope he runs for governor next.
But can you imagine? I just hope he's good at his job, because I think it's one thing to
Well, he has a degree in this.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He has a political science degree, but I think it's one thing to say everything that's wrong with something, and it's a very different thing to dig in
and fix it. Yeah.
Those are two very, very different things. But I think he's passionate enough where he can do it. It's just, do you keep that passion after you win? That's the real thing. But I think it's interesting as an outsider to sit and watch the whole thing. Like, I've never watched like a debate for mayor. I did. I like literally said, on TikTok, and was
I don't
like
think
watching.
they've done one.
Yeah, it was very, it was really, but I'm sure they do every year, but I'm sure nobody really watched it. But it was like something that I feel like everybody watched it.
There's no way it's televised at that level. It's not a huge, you're mayor. You're just mayor. It's not crazy. Like you're a governor.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a special exception.
Yeah, but he
shined.
I felt like he did really, he's entertaining. He really is.
So there was a reporter who posted a TikTok, and he said, Spencer Pratt is going to win, and I'm going to tell you exactly why he's going to win. And I figured this out after his debate. They said the first person we went to after the debate and said every reporter there swarmed Spencer Pratt.
Him. Yeah.
No one was talking to the other two candidates for like a good 10 to 12 minutes. And they said in the news cycle, 10 minutes is a long time to not go get an interview from someone that just did a televised debate. That tells you Spencer's going to win. Like, he was like, that's where the media's locked in at. That's
the hype is definitely around him. I also think if you do not get on, even if you don't like him, you should really look at his TikTok. I think his ads and his marketing is very genius. The one that they were talking about, TMZ, the one where he kind of shows everybody's homes, and then he shows LA, and then he shows his home. It was the most genius ad. I think I really, like, me not living there, I was like, it was very impactful, right? I was like, wow, this is, whoever created this is a great like ad and concept, because it made him, in my opinion, it was like, okay, these are the like elites in power, and this is our city, and this is me, and the crap with you guys. Like, it was kind of like, I am one of you. Very, very, very smart. And the way that it ended with his house that had, been lost in the fire, and just this, what is it called? Like what does he live in right now?
Camper.
His camper in the middle of his, what used to be his home, was honestly very, very brilliant marketing. And I think it was so impactful, which is why everybody was talking about it, trying to be like, no, he's lying.
And then he had a response video to TMZ's whole thing where he did a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air parody, and he was driving his camper through Bel-Air. It was very funny.
Oh, and at the end, he pulls up to the Bel-Air Hotel, which I was like, very, 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 very witty.
All right, we're going to take a break real quick. We'll be right back.
Okay, so this is such a bittersweet week for me. We're doing this a little bit in advance because I'm going out of town next week. I'm actually going with Brandy and Brian and their kids to, oh my goodness, we're flying into Nassau, I think, and we're doing like a whole like Bahamas on a
I love
ship,
the Bahamas,
which would be so great with the kids. Super excited. The boat we're taking this yacht. Okay, so Brandy's husband Brian works for like the number one or number two like large. He's like president of one of the largest companies that buys and sells marinas all over the world. So he gets like crazy yachts for very good price. I'm going to say that very, very good price. A fraction of what it would be. So we leave after school, but it's very, very bittersweet. This is my youngest son, Cruz. It's his last week at his current school that he's been in since he was in kindergarten. And there was, I think season 2, he was so young. I mean, I can't believe how old was he season 2? He was so young.
6?
And maybe like 6 years old. And season 2, I kind of touched on the fact that he was at Chance's school at the time, which is a very neurotypical school. And I mean, it was, if you were a parent with a kid who has dyslexia, ADD, dysgraphia, any of those things, my heart goes out to you because I know how hard it is. And I think people who don't have a child who has ever struggled don't get how hard it is to be a parent of a child that does struggle. Because I had 2 kids at this same private school in Dallas. And Cruz was, again, you're right, I think about 6 years old. He was in like kindergarten. I mean, where you really should not have any issues, okay? And I remember him just struggling over the alphabet of all things, right? And I'm like, how can we not learn a letter? Like it was, like I would do every day, like A, and we would do A is for apple. I'd write it on his hand. Like it was that bad where he could not. And then the next day we would add another letter and he couldn't remember the one from the day before. It was like, it was a disaster. And I remember going into my parent teacher conferences and I had Chance, who was more of a neurotypical child, who was doing great. I mean, it's very basic letters and numbers at that age, right? And then I remember going in to my parent teacher conferences with Cruz, who is again kindergarten. And with Chance, I would have a teacher, and maybe like their helper there. And then when I went in with Cruz, I would have a whole team of people pretty much saying how my kid was struggling at the tender age of 6 years old, right? And I would always leave my parent teacher conferences feeling very defeated, like there was something wrong that I wasn't catching with my child and I was letting my child down. And then I would go home and really, really try to help him and nothing was helping, to the point to where at the end of that school year, the teacher came to me and said, the teacher came to me and said, that he is so not the same kid he was at the beginning of the school year, and that his self-esteem was so low because he was so behind all these other kids, that she wasn't even going to have him do school anymore. Like she was going to have him just show up and have fun and not put any pressure on him to learn anything because obviously he couldn't, right? And it was affecting his self-esteem and he was calling himself stupid, and it was just a horrible year. And at the same time, I'm filming Housewives, right? And I think that was the year that Brandy and I went through all of our stuff too. So it was just like a shitty year. I mean, if there was one year that was really shitty, that would be my favorite year. That was like the shittiest of the shitty. But I also noticed doing this that every time that they said he needed help, they would have a teacher come in from this very specific school in Dallas who would give him this extra help. And that school, now that my kid's leaving, that school is called Shelton, the Shelton school. And so I asked them, I said, listen, instead of beating my head against the wall and forcing my child to stay at a school that I don't think is really for him, that my other son's thriving in, but this kid's obviously drowning. I've noticed that every time you guys are bringing somebody in that we're paying extra money for is from the Shelton school, right? So I said, should I look into having him go there? And I didn't know really anything about that school, but when I looked it up, I realized it was a school that was geared towards kids with learning differences. So kids that are super bright but just learn differently. So kids with like ADD, dyslexia, dysgraphia, kids like that. Even some kids who have, who are high functioning, because autistic kids are some of the smartest people too. So it's kids who are just like learn differently and need a different environment. And Shelton like taught the kids and not the subject. And so I moved Cruz over. He tested like he had everything you could have. Like he has dyslexia, dysgraphia, and ADD. And I moved him over, I think, maybe primer. And we're leaving this year. We're going to a very neurotypical high school that Chance goes to. So it's very bittersweet. But this kid went from like calling himself stupid and not knowing his literally a letter in the alphabet to like in 2 months at this one special school with teachers who really knew how to work with these kids, knowing everything and being off the charts, positive about who he was and just really gaining his self-esteem and his love for learning. And I mean, he skipped a math grade last year and anyways, just thriving. And so it's very bittersweet. So yeah, he is.
So are you scared for him to leave that environment?
Yeah, I am. We were at the, and I know they would take him back in a second, but we were at the 7th and 8th grade. Why am I crying today? I think I'm just very tired. Sorry. But we were at the 7th and 8th grade award ceremony and he got honored. And in it, they were talking about the seniors and the valedictorian this year is going to like Stanford. I mean, these kids are going to amazing schools. And I really think if I left Cruz at that school, he would have been the valedictorian or salutatorian because he's one of the smartest kids in his grade. I mean, he's just off the charts, like skipped a whole math level and still makes A's. And he did great on the test to get into the school that he'll be going into. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of me that's like, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? And we let Cruz make this decision.
And how does Cruz feel?
He's nervous, but I think he wants to get out of his comfort zone and see what he can do. And he got into every school he applied for. But
and y'all gave him this choice, I think, last year too, right?
We were like, yes, he actually got in last year too, and we had them take his name off the list because I could tell he wasn't ready. And then we were like, okay, let's test because a lot of kids are, and if you don't want to go, you don't have to move, but let's test just to give you options because a lot of kids leave for high school. And he tested high and he's going, and it's very bittersweet. But I feel like this week I'm like, every day I drop him off, I'm like, soak it up because this is kind of your last year. It's just, yeah. You'll
and
have
he's
kids
probably like, okay.
He's like, oh my, Travis is like, you are losing your mind. But I think so much, I was talking to my therapist, I think so much change has happened this year that I'm very overwhelmed. Like moving into this rental home was overwhelming in a way that it probably wouldn't be for most people. But having your house kind of demoed, right? And I'm excited for the remodel, but just kind of not feeling like I have a place that's actually ours. Like I feel like everything's so temporary right now. It doesn't feel stable in a way that I really like. I realize I don't love change. Like who knew? Trey could have probably told you that. I don't love change. It changes. I like stability.
We're going to have to put you in a padded room when Chance moves to college.
I'm not going to be okay. I already told Travis, I was like, I can't, like one of our friends, whose son's going to be a senior next year. I was like, I don't know how you're going to do it. I can't. I can't even think about it without crying. But yeah, so so I just feel like a lot of change is happening. And Cruz going to this new school has for some reason like shook me to my core. Maybe because as a mom, I don't want to feel like I did season 2, where he is in a school where he's drowning. But I told Travis, Cruz was like, listen, I'm going to give it till Christmas. And if I don't have any friends and I don't like it, I'm moving back. And I said, I will make sure that
Mama will make that happen.
Mama will force Daddy to do that. But yeah, so anyways, it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Well, that's exciting though.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think it's going to be great. He has his big brother. It's going to be good. But I have 99 problems and 98 are made up in my head, and that's one of my problems right now. So,
and that's one of my problems.
Yeah, but it is really bittersweet to it just feels like almost a new chapter, and I just am not really ready for it. But yeah, I don't like change if you haven't noticed. So, but every day I've dropped him off, I think I've cried driving home. It's so and he's fine. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you? You need to be more depressed. Like, this is so sad. But it's going to be good. It's going to be good. But if you are a parent of somebody who is a kid who is struggling, just know that it does get better if you are surrounded with the right help. And if you really advocate for your kids. And with Cruz's school, even though it is a school that's geared towards kids with learning differences, I went in and advocated for my kid every year, saying I want him in the highest level classes he can be. And I want him to be pushed. I didn't want him to use, I have a learning difference as a crutch. I wanted him to thrive with it. So if you are, and say you're even not going to a private school or a school that's geared towards kids with learning differences, my biggest piece of advice is to go in and advocate for your kids, because nobody is going to fight harder for your children than you are. And kids who have learning differences are some of the smartest kids. They just have to learn how to deal with the tools that they have. So different doesn't necessarily mean less than. So if you are a parent like me, season 2, who feels like you've let your kid down or you don't know what to do, I'm telling you, my kid is living proof. Now I feel like he is definitely my golden smart child out of the 2. And that's not something I would have ever thought season 2 of Housewives.
And if you're curious, the school is called June Shelton School.
Yeah.
In Dallas.
It's yes, and it's expensive. I know that if you live here, I know they do have scholarships. But
there are kids that fly in from like all over the country.
Yeah, there are
for the school year.
Yeah, there are kids that fly in for just their summer programs. Even they have like reading summer programs, and it's just. But one thing I've learned that I thought was really interesting when my kid was really young is if you're a parent who's really trying to help your child by yourself. Kids, especially with dyslexia, they have to use every sense to learn. So, smell, taste. So we would, like they would do cook-a-book where they would, make, it was interesting where they would like learn to read recipes. We would draw A's in the sand. Make an A with a Play-Doh. Like they have to use all their senses, hear it, auditory. That's kind of one thing that they did that really, really helped Cruz out is using all of his senses with learning, which is very interesting and different.
And if your kid goes there, they can enjoy the Holman family gym?
Yeah. One of the gyms is named after us, yes. And the lockers. All the lockers in the school are donated by us, yeah. So it's great, but it's very bittersweet. So there we go. That's my life.
On that note...
Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening and supporting. You can follow me at Steph Holman on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
You can follow me at Trey_Stewart. You can follow our podcast at BS the Podcast. You can watch us on YouTube at Weekly Dose of BS. Bye.